fail to address the issue of skin lightening, serious bleaching ingredients and those that do not. It is indeed quite a contentious issue. And we have with us today Jackie, who is a very well-known skincare consultant in Nairobi, and she's going to talk to us about skin lightening and the products that one should use to even out the skin, to remove dark spots and dark patches. So Jackie, the other day you mentioned to me that people really come asking for skin lightening products and all that. And why do you think they ask for these products, and what do you normally advise them to do?
People normally come here at Super Cosmetics mostly to ask for products that normally will help to lighten their skin. But according to us, we normally advise people not to use bleaching products that will damage their skin. We normally encourage people to use safe products that we stock in our store. Mostly the products we stock are of vitamin C, which will help to lighten the skin, smoothen the skin and soften and give you a radiant color back. We normally have also people who have sunburned skin.
Yes.
And we advise them on what to use so that they can get back their natural color back.
Jackie, I can see you're really glowing. You look lovely. Your skin is a deep tone. It's so gorgeous. What would you advise people to do to achieve that glow without changing their color?
It's better to use a product that is safer, and also you have a daily routine that you can use, especially a cleanser, a toner, and a good moisturizer.
Cleanser, toner, and a good moisturizer. And maybe also always making sure that you know your products.
Yeah.
What are some of the dangerous products that you've seen?
There are products which are normally not advisable to use. Like if you get a product with hydroquinone, mercury, it tends to damage the tissue and the melamine of your skin. And when the melamine is damaged, it's very hard to repair.
Jackie, I completely agree with you about this issue of bleaching. It's something that should never be included in a person's skincare routine. It is best to use natural products like those ingredients you've mentioned, like niacinamide, vitamin C, vitamin E, which are natural brighteners. One should completely avoid things like mercury and hydroquinone and steroids, because these damage your skin. And once that damage is done, it is irreparable. Damaged skin by bleaching takes a long time to heal, if at all it ever heals. That should never be part of your skin routine. And this has been Self-Care Tips. I am Irene Joroge.
The Office of the Registrar of Political Parties, in partnership with eCitizen, brings you a self-service platform for management of political parties membership. At the click of a button, you can now check the political party you are registered in as a member, resign from a political party, or join a political party of choice. Simply log into your eCitizen account, select your preferred service, fill in the details, then submit. You will receive a system acknowledgement of your request, and an eCitizen system notification will be issued once the processing is complete. ORPP is committed to serve you to promote political rights in a democratic multi-party system. For more information, visit www.orpp.or.ke or engage us using our handles at ORPP Kenya across social media platforms. Your party, your choice.
Please deposit this money into my account real quick.
May I know your account, please?
Michael Bakayoko. My account is 01826.
Thank you for banking with us.
It's my first time to bank. Could I ask how safe is my money? Or maybe I should just continue with my mattress banking. I think I should go back.
How are you, Mr. Bakayoko? How may I help you this time?
Well, I have come back to confirm the safety of my money, the one that I deposited earlier today.
Oh, I guess you haven't banked with us for some time. Now listen, whenever you deposit your money, be rest assured of its safety because you're a responsible bank, which is a member of the KDIC. See that sticker there?
KDIC?
KDIC is mandated by law to provide insurance for your deposits.
Now I know. No more mattress banking.
Be sure. Check out for a KDIC sticker in your banking hall. KDIC, protecting your deposits.
Good evening and welcome to Prime Edition. Tonight, President Uhuru Kenyatta has instituted changes in the prison department that have seen the sacking of the Commissioner General, that is Wycliffe Ogalo, and replacement is retired Brigadier John Kibaso Warioba. We have the details lined up for you, including what is happening in the latest political doors, as well as the visit by the U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken. We have details lined up for you. Plus, tonight on our Extra Mile segment, we'll be talking to the CEO, East Africa Sub-Saharan Africa Safe Promotions Foundation, that is Julius Kithome, and we'll be talking about empowerment, particularly at this time when so many people are struggling with what you would call poverty, as well as living below the $1 mark. That's coming up a little bit later. For now, the headlines. Cracking the whip, President appoints new Commissioner General of Prison.
We're both deeply concerned is Ethiopia. The conflict there threatens not just that country, but its neighbors as well. I very much appreciate President Kenyatta's engagement on this, including at the United Nations and in person in Ethiopia.
Cementing Kenya's U.S. ties. President Uhuru Kenyatta meets visiting U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken. And doors shut for secret lovers. New law denies mistresses share of man's property. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Ann Wangeshi. I'm doing this alone as Safina Cheng is away. Hopefully she will be joining us on Sunday Express this coming Sunday. But let's begin the bulletin right away with a story. The police have refuted claims that the sacked Commissioner General of Prison, Wycliffe Ogalo, had been arrested. In a post on its Twitter handle, police say they were only facilitating a smooth and seamless handover of Ogalo after his sacking. Ogalo was sacked by President Uhuru Kenyatta, who replaced him with Brigadier retired John Kibaso Warioba, who was immediately sworn in. The changes came only a day after 3 terror suspects escaped from Committee Maximum Prison under unclear circumstances.
The sacked Commissioner General of Prison Wycliffe Ogalo said to have been arrested moments after President Uhuru Kenyatta made changes in the leadership of the country's correctional facility. Reports had indicated that Ogalo was arrested by officers from ATPU who were seen storming in the Magereza house.
No, where do you go to? Here.
And driven to the DCI headquarters for interrogation. Also said to have been arrested were other 2 senior officers in the prisons department who had direct link with the Committee Maximum Prison when the 3 terror convicted escaped on Monday under questionable circumstances. But police have refused claims that Ogalo was arrested, saying their presence at the Magereza house was to facilitate a smooth transfer of office. Earlier, President Uhuru Kenyatta, in a statement signed by State House spokesperson Kanze Dena, had revoked the appointment of Ogalo and appointed Brigadier retired John Kibaso Warioba to take over as Commissioner General of Prisons, and moments after he was sworn in, Ogalo was under arrest. In the statement, a titled Security Breach at Committee Maximum Security Prison, the head of state directed that in keeping with ethos of good governance in the intervening period and pending conclusive investigations, the Prisons Department sanctions disciplinary action against all prison service personnel who are on duty when the security breaches occurred, which include redeployment and immediate suspension of all affected officers. The head of state are further directing the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and Coordination of National Government and all security formations to take all necessary action and bring the 3 escapees back. The head of state in the meantime appealed to Kenyans to volunteer any information that may lead to the capture of the 3 as security was a cardinal principle of all. Yusufar reporting for Prime Edition.
Quite an interesting story there. Now let's focus on some geopolitics in the United States. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken has lauded efforts by President Uhuru Kenyatta to end a year-long conflict in Ethiopia. Blinken, who is in the country at the start of his Free Nation Africa tour, held bilateral talks with President Uhuru Kenyatta at State House. He underscored the U.S. support for a peaceful and inclusive election in Kenya in the year 2022, as Ben Chumba now reports.
United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken began his trip in Nairobi, where he met President Uhuru Kenyatta and Cabinet Secretary for Foreign Affairs Ambassador Rachel Omamo. Blinken, while calling for an halt to the violence in Ethiopia, recognized Kenya's tremendous efforts in addressing regional security issues such as Ethiopia, Somalia and Sudan.
Where we're both deeply concerned is Ethiopia. The conflict there threatens not just that country, but its neighbors as well. We very much appreciate the efforts that the President Kenyatta has made personally to engage and to support the efforts that are being led by the AU's mediator, former President Obasanjo. We very much applaud President Kenyatta's engagement on this.
We believe in the potential of Ethiopia to find a resolution to this crisis. We believe that a ceasefire is possible.
Blinken, who is the highest-ranking official of Biden's administration to visit Africa, advanced the U.S.-Kenyan cooperation on ending COVID-19, improving clean energy access, and protecting the environment.
We are working to accelerate the global vaccine effort because, as we've said repeatedly, and we say it repeatedly because it is fundamentally true, no country, no region will be safe until we stop the pandemic everywhere. As long as the virus is replicating, it's likely to be mutating, and as long as it's mutating, it may well come back and defeat some of the vaccines that are so effective and that we put in place.
President Kenyatta acknowledged the American government for the development support it continues to offer Kenya, especially in the health sector. The president further reiterated Kenya's deep desire to become a regional vaccine production and logistics hub.
The attack yesterday in Kampala was a painful reminder of how vital it is that we continue to work together to improve security throughout East Africa. The United States offers its deepest condolences to those injured in the attacks and to the families and loved ones of those who were killed. We're grateful to Kenya for being our security partner. Our countries consult frequently on critical situations throughout the region.
Terrorism is a problem for all of us, and the requirement is one of constant vigilance by all. It is necessary that we continue to collaborate and share intelligence, share best practices, so that as a world we are able to tackle this problem together.
Blinken, who also held talks with civil society groups in the country, underscored the U.S. support for a peaceful and inclusive Kenyan election in 2022. On Thursday, Antony Blinken will visit the United Nations Environment Programme, where he will hold bilateral discussions with the Executive Director of UN Environment Programme, Inga Anderson. Ben Chumba, Prime Edition.
And we continue to welcome your feedback on our social sites at KBC Channel 1 on Facebook, at KBC Channel 1 on Twitter. You can also watch this bulletin live on YouTube, on Facebook, as well as on Twitter. Now, police in Kisumu have arrested two suspects who escaped from police custody in Uasin Gishu County. Mohammed Erden Hussein, aged 18, and Elvis Odhiambo, who is 17, have been remanded for robbery violence charges before escaping. The two were rearrested Wednesday morning in Kisumu's Manyata slums, where they had been masquerading as street children since the escape on Thursday last week. Wycliffe Okech reports from Kisumu.
The two teenage suspects were rounded up Wednesday morning in Kisumu's Manyata slums following a tip-off from area residents who suspected they were among the three escapees from Community Maximum Prison. A police report indicates that Mohammed Erden Hussein, 18, and Elvis Odhiambo, 17, broke out from police cells at Kapsoya Police Station, Uasin Gishu County, on November 11, 2021, where they had been remanded for robbery with violence charges. The two had sought refuge at a guest room within Manyata slums, but the area assistant chief, Agnes Ogweno, says the community policing practice led to their arrest.
So these two boys, we learned about them yesterday. Yes, when one of the village elder noticed, because one, we had sensitized our village elders, the cluster heads, and even the community that due to high terror in the country, should they see someone who is suspicious, let them report.
Agnes at the same time called on residents to be more vigilant and report suspicious individuals to authorities.
Everywhere, wherever we are, let us be very vigilant. Let us not sleep because the terror is so high. Just yesterday we saw it in Uganda, so it's not far from us. This is something that is just within us. So it's us to take care of ourselves, the community. If you see someone that you are not well conversant with, make sure that you go to the authority and report.
Kisumu County Police Commander Richard Ngeno, who spoke to Channel 1 on phone, confirmed that the two suspects have since been transferred back to Kapsoya police cells. Their arrest comes at a time the country is on high alert following the escape of 3 terror convicts from the Committee Maximum Security Prison. For Prime Edition from Kisumu County, I am Wycliffe Okech.
Clearly looks like it's a prison break season. Leaders from Mount Kenya region, allied to Deputy President William Ruto, say they will marshal voters to reject attempts to have candidates imposed on them in the 2022 general election. The leaders vowing that they will neither be intimidated nor coerced into changing their political inclinations. The leaders were in the company of a Deputy President who was in Tharaka Nithi on the 3rd day of his tour of the Mount Kenya East region. It was Ruto's first day in Tharaka Nithi County and the 3rd in the Mount Kenya East region. And just like in Meru, the Deputy President maintained the tempo, turning heat on leaders said to be supporting the Azimio la Umoja campaign.
Hawa watu wanatuletea mtu ya kitendawili wanatudharau bana. Hawa watu wanatuletea mtu ya kitendawili ni matusi. Wacheni kutusumbua, sisi ni watu tumejipanga. Ama namna gani? Tumejipanga hatujajipanga.
Those accompanying him calling on the voters from the region to reject attempts to impose a leader on them in 2022.
Sisi, watu wa Tharaka Nithi, wa Meru, watu wa Mount Kenya, na family ya Jubilee Kenya nzima, mikoa yote 8 ya Kenya, tumekataa, hatutachagua Raila Odinga kama rais wa Kenya.
Munataka tupewe huyo mzee kazi ama vijana wetu? Tupewe huyo mzee ama vijana wetu?
Huyu jamaa wa vitandawili hawezi kuleta umoja katika nchi ya Kenya kwa sababu yeye ndio mtu anavunja kila kitu kinachopangwa katika taifa letu la Kenya.
According to Ruto, he's best suited to succeed President Uhuru Kenyatta once he retires, as he only understands the Jubilee government projects from conceptualization and had supported President Kenyatta's accession to power.
Hiyo mpango ya Big Four, tulikuwa tumepanga ajira ya hawa vijana wetu ndani yake. Tulikuwa tumepanga mambo ya kilimo ndani yake. Tulikuwa tumepanga mambo ya universal health coverage ndani yake. Lakini nyinyi mnajua tulitembelewa na ule mtu ya kitendawili.
Ruto called on area residents to back his bottom-up economic model and the UDA party, accusing his opponents of prioritizing constitutional changes at the expense of the welfare of Kenya's rural and urban poor.
Mnakubaliana na wale bwana kitendawili anasema tubadilishe katiba, sijui tubadilishe nini, tuongeze mamlaka ya rais, tuongeze mamlaka ya nani? Ama mnataka tubadilishe uchumi kwanza? Tubadilishe uchumi ama katiba?
Meanwhile, ODM party leader Raila Odinga has assured his supporters of free and fair party nominations ahead of the 2022 elections. Speaking in Kibra after donating building materials to traders whose stores were gulfed by fire, the ODM leader said only registered members who participate in the party primaries, as Kevin Washira now reports.
Kanana, Lunga constituency, Kwale County, was the first stopover for ODM leader Raila Odinga to popularize the Azimio la Umoja drive after a 2 hours closed-door meeting with the local leadership. He would later proceed to Ukunda and Likoni. It is here that Raila sold his bid to liberate the locals from the thorny land question, joblessness as well as a struggling economy.
Najua serikali imejaribu kupeana title deeds, lakini haijatosha. Ile ambayo imekuja juu yake sana ni mambo ya ujambazi. Kila kitu ni yako, hasara ni yako. Sasa jamaa ngoja hapa nje ukitoke utoze ushuru. Ati kupata leseni shilingi 100 na shilingi ngapi? Hiyo ni upuzi.
The former primer promising that if elected, he will deal with private developers who have been oppressing the locals who have been rendered squatters.
Dawa yao ni kushikwa na kuwekwa ndani. Manake hao ni wahalifu, ni criminals. Wanajulikana, ama sivyo?
Mambo za ardhi za pwani zimeelezwa kinaga, lakini uongozi ambao inaweza
We apologize for that story. The story we aired is erroneous. I'll take you back to the story produced by Kevin Oshira about the ODM party leaders' visit to Kibra, where he assured party supporters of free and fair nominations. And of course, he was speaking to traders whose stalls were gutted by fire. Let's have a look at that story.
With 2022 general elections barely 9 months away, the Orange Party is working on a level playing field for its primaries. The party saying it will allow consensus among candidates, but if they fail to agree, a national delegates conference or party nominations exercise may settle on the preferred candidate. ODM leader Raila Odinga, speaking in Kibra after donating building materials to victims of burnt hawkers market, said only registered members with membership card will participate in the party nominations.
Ni wanachama wenyewe kupiga kura, na mpaka wewe uwe mwanachama ambao unabeba membership card ya ODM. Mara hii kuna mambo ya ID card. So,
the Orange Party has revived the membership recruitment drive for those who want to join the party. Those seeking membership will have to pay 100 shillings joining fee and a similar amount for annual subscription fee. Life membership joining fee is 20,000 shillings and subscription fee is 5,000 shillings.
Ikiwa kama hawa hawajaelewana, kumekuwa na ugomvi, vijana wamepigana, na wanachama wakupata fursa ya kuteua sawasawa, chama yuko na uwezo ya kuteua direct.
The ODM leader also using the event to tear at Deputy President's bottom-up proposed economic model, saying it is no match to social protection proposal of giving poor families 6,000 shillings.
Hapa Kibera mnataka kusukuma wilbaro. Mmekataa wilbaro. Wangapi mkataa wilbaro nione kwa mkono? Na wale ambaye wanataka kufanya biashara yao ya kibinafsi wapewe loan na serikali ili waweze kuanzisha na biashara yao na walipi mpaka baada ya miaka 7.
Earlier, the ODM leader hosted delegates from Marsabit County at party headquarters, where he urged communities residing in the county to elect leaders based on their development track record. Kevin Washira, Prime Edition.
All right, time for us to take our very first breather on Prime Edition. But of course, if you're a secret lover or you know one, there's bad news for you tonight. We'll be telling you why when we come back from the other end of the break. But of course, also when we come back, have that conversation an extra mile, talking to the CEO, East Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa Safe Promotions Foundation. That is Julius Kithome. That is coming up later after this break. Don't go too far.
Hii ni mashini kama wewe iko na mgonjwa ya moyo, wewe nalete kwa mashini hii, naona moyo nafanya kazi namna gani. Hapana, sikia ni kitu ngumu. Hospitali mingi hapana iko hii kitu, na ndio sisi tunasema asante sana, sababu hospitali yetu ya Katundu atakuwa hata zaidi ya ile hospitali nyingine iko Nairobi.
Sasa baada ya kutembelea hospitali sehemu mbalimbali, Baba Taifa anatoka kwenye hospitali na sasa hayo ndio yote tungeweza kuwaletea kutoka hapa Katundu siku ya leo.
The Office of the Registrar of Political Parties, in partnership with eCitizen, brings you a self-service platform for management of political parties membership.
Kulu minat toyibat, yani kuleni katika vitu ambavyo ni vyema, na pia mtekeleze vitende vyema, na kando na hilo msiingize mikono yenu katika maangamivu.
Mkuleni kitu halali, lakini msikule kitu ambaye haramu Mwenyezi Mungu ameharamisha.
For more information, visit www.orpp.or.ke or engage us using our handles at ORPP Kenya across social media platforms. Your party, your choice.
Tangu kuzinduliwa kwa vigezo vinne vikuu vya ajenda ya maendeleo na rais zijulikanazo kama the Big Four Agenda, serikali za kaunti zimeanzisha baadhi ya miradi inayoambatana na vigezo hivyo.
This Big Four Agenda provides young persons with multiple avenues for self-fulfillment, economic empowerment, dignified living, as well as service to Kenya.
Kaunti ya Kitui imeanzisha miradi ya kuzalisha bidhaa mbalimbali huku ikibuni nafasi za kazi na kukuza uchumi.
Governor zote tungechukua hii Big Four Agenda. Hii ndio game changer.
Ijumaa hii saa 2:30 jioni katika KBC Channel 1, tazama jinsi kaunti ya Kitui ilivyowekeza katika miradi inayolingana na the Big Four.
Welcome back to Prime Edition. Before we head over to that important interview, the court has given the Director of Public Prosecution 7 days to present charges against the ejected Football Federation of Kenya President Nick Mwendwa. The DPP had sought to detain Mwendwa for 14 days on allegations of fraud in connection with the dealings at the country soccer body. Senior Resident Magistrate Wandia Nyamo further directed that bond terms issued against Mwendwa of 7 million and a cash bill of 4 million granted on Monday be extended to the 25th of November. Here is our Skills of Justice segment with Serafina Robi.
The Director of Public Prosecution now has 7 days to present charges against the ejected Football Federation of Kenya President Nick Mwendwa. This is after the court declined an application to detain Mwendwa for 14 days, pending investigations requested by the DPP.
By the time the prosecution sought extension to detain the respondent, the grounds of the notice of motion application are sufficient to be on the holding charge for the respondent to be informed of the reason for further detention. The prosecution is given 7 days from today to bring a charge against the respondent and or close this miscellaneous file.
Mwendwa, who is out on a 4 million shillings cash bill and a 7 million shillings bond, had earlier on been arrested on allegations of fraud. An affidavit presented by the DPP indicates a transfer of 8.5 million shillings and withdrawal of 29 million shillings undertaken by unauthorized signatories. Milimani Senior Resident Magistrate Wandia Nyamo further directed the bond terms be extended to the 25th of November. Through his lawyer, Mwendwa condemned the manner in which the case has been handled.
Those 4 grounds were not really reasons, and I think the court was right in making that determination.
And I will say this with my eyes closed, that even if they charge him based on that inspection report, it's wrong, because the Sports Act and its regulations require that FKF should be given an opportunity to comment on that report before they take action.
Senator Mutula Kilonzo Jr. questioned Sports CS Amina Mohammed turning down summons to appear in the Senate.
CS Amina has not honored summons. In fact, in my case, she has refused to answer the questions, because those questions that I posed to the ministry cannot be answered without the cabinet secretary showing that what she was doing before the inspection was malicious.
A meeting has been scheduled between Kenya and FIFA to resolve the FKF stalemate. Serafina Robi for Prime Edition.
Let's focus on Kenya's COVID-19 situation. And Kenya's COVID-19 positivity rate on Wednesday stood at 1.3% after 69 people tested positive from 5,345 samples tested in the last 24 hours. Total confirmed positive cases are now 254,453. Cumulative tests conducted so far are over 2.78 million. 3 deaths have been reported, all being late deaths recorded after conducting facility audit records in the months of September and October. The cumulative number of fatalities now stands at 5,325. As at November 16th, 2021, over 6.16 million vaccines had been administered across the country. Meanwhile, statistics from the Johns Hopkins University indicate that globally over 254 million people have tested positive, while more than 5.1 million have died from COVID-19 disease. In a related story, scientists and researchers in the East African region have raised concerns over the low uptake of the COVID-19 vaccine in the region. Factors such as negative publicity about effects of the vaccine on social media and lack of adequate doses have been blamed for the trend. The researchers who spoke during the 8th East African Region Scientific Conference are at the same time advocating for a common regional vaccine to ensure the region does not suffer from shortage witnessed during the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Scientific capacity. We have researchers of very high level. We have scientists. So this is not a challenge. The challenge is now, what do we have on the ground as technology? We are now in the process of discussing internally in the East African community, but also with the development partners, how we can develop a regional manufacturer of COVID-19 vaccines, which is the only way of sustainability to get vaccines in our region.
We are happy with the progress, but we are still having our eyes on the target. Remember, we have still aiming at 10 million by December. It's opening up now to those who are above 18 years old, and we still call upon every member of the community that's eligible for the vaccination of the COVID-19 to step forward and go for the vaccine. Don't wait until it is too late.
Pay some attention here. President Uhuru Kenyatta has signed into law the Succession Amendment Bill 2019, a move that will henceforth see secret lovers barred from seeking to inherit their partner's wealth in the event of death. The bill, sponsored by Homa Bay Town MP Peter Kaluma, seeks to bring to an end countless court cases on inheritance. It also seeks to streamline the administration of succession matters in the country.
Schemers and secret lovers seeking to inherit their partner's properties in case of death have been dealt a blow after President assented to the Law of Succession Amendment Bill by Homa Bay Town Member of Parliament Peter Kaluma. The bill, in which children are protected whether their parents are married or not, sought to amend the definition of the word dependent so as to lock out illegitimate spouses from inheriting the property of a deceased person. The President also signed into law the Refugees Bill, strengthening the management of refugees by consolidating provisions of several international legal instruments. And a new Foreign Service Act that establishes Foreign Service Academy, among other key provisions aimed at enhancing Kenya's foreign relations, was also signed. The three are set to be gazetted in 7 days and will come into force after 2 weeks from the date of gazettement. For Prime Edition, I'm Gladys Sumungai.
Residents of Uriri, Migori County, have held demonstrations to protest increased cases of insecurity in the region. The residents who have accused police of laxity are demanding the transfer of the area police boss. Also, residents of Naivasha have raised an alarm of increased drug use by students in the area. They have termed the situation as troubling.
Hundreds of residents blocked the busy Kisii-Migori highway protesting the killing of a watchman by unknown thugs. The incident happened only 3 days after another attack on an M-Pesa operator who lost over 900,000 Kenyan shillings. Residents have accused police of laxity.
Rogers alikatakatwa na kanyang'anywa mali yake yote. Sisi tunashindwa kujua hapa Uriri tuko na maafisa wa polisi ama hakuna. Kwa hivyo kuanzia leo tunatoa onyo kwa OCS wa Uriri. Kuanzia leo ile mapolisi ambao wamesakaa kwa muda mrefu kwa waondoke mara moja.
Concern has been raised over the increased number of students in both primary and secondary schools abusing drugs in Naivasha. 6 students from a public school in Kasarani Trading Center were arrested with assorted drugs which they intended to sell to their colleagues. Naivasha Deputy County Commissioner Mutua Kisilu called for concerted efforts to deal with the menace.
Tumeweka mikakati pamoja na washikandao katika mambo ya elimu. Kwa mambo ya madawa ya kulevya tunataka kukiri kwamba kuna ongezeko sana katika maeneo ya Naivasha, si Naivasha peke yake, lakini katika sub-county ya Naivasha. Kama vyombo vya dola tunaendelea kushika watu tukiwapeleka kotini, lakini kama vile mnavyojua ni kwamba katika wakati mwingi wale ambao wanavuta madawa wanafanya kwa siri.
Elsewhere, National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi has teamed up with Mount Kenya Forum in plans to unite the central region ahead of the 2022 presidential polls and ensure the region goes to the polls as a united bloc. Speaking at Fairview Hotel, Mount Kenya Forum spokesperson and also NA Kenya Party leader Martha Karua hinted at a new alliance between the Democratic Party presidential candidate Justin Muturi and former Kiambu Governor William Kabogo, among other political leaders from the Mount Kenya region. Meanwhile, the Controller of Budget, Margaret Nyakango, has commended the progress, quality and impact of development projects in Uasin Gishu County. Speaking at Ziwa Level 5 Hospital, Nyakango said Uasin Gishu is among counties that have done well in terms of revenue allocation. The Ministry of Agriculture has applauded efforts by Taita Taveta County Ranchers Association in the development of the beef, sheep and goats value chain sector that currently contributes 12% of the country's GDP and 45% of the agriculture GDP. Finally, as the world observes World Prematurity Day today to raise awareness of preterm birth. On this day, fathers in Baringo County sought to show a different face of parenting. Dennis Kabugi, whose wife bore their first child at 26 weeks, left his job for a month to nurse his wife back to health and be with his child until the hospitals were ready to release him.
All right, time for us now to focus on our Extra Mile segment. We're talking to Julius Kidhome. He's the CEO, East Africa Sub-Saharan Africa Safe Promotions Foundation, EA SASAF. And he's with us in the studio to talk about economic empowerment. And I'm sure probably through the campaigns you've seen throughout the country, some are talking about bottom-up economic model, others 6,000 shillings for the youth, others streamlining the economy. So today we're going to speak about economic empowerment, but probably from a more proactive and realistic approach other than what you're hearing from public podiums. And Kidhome is here with us tonight. Karibu sana.
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Bishop Julius Kidhome. I'm the chairman of the East African Sub-Saharan Foundation, ESSF, as well as the CEO of the organization. This organization is Christian oriented.
Okay.
We are in the religious and the non-political. This matter came about because when we were preaching the gospel, we found it that we were feeding too much on the spiritual person, and still the physical person was lacking. And we looked at our example, the Lord Jesus Christ, and we discovered that he used to attend to the spiritual, and then he fed the people. And therefore, we found that there was a disconnect. And out of that, God gave us this insight, and now we started.
It's a religious organization?
Yes.
All right.
Interreligious.
Interreligious organization. Obviously started in 2013. You got your registration from government in the year 2017.
Correct.
That means it's 4 years since your registration. But there's something I was reading from your website, which is quite interesting. The main aim of the formation was to address humanitarian needs and elevate poverty. From where you sit as a clergy, sitting in the pulpit, what was that missing gap? Probably in terms of policy or in terms of empowerment that led us to the actual situation of a humanitarian situation or poverty?
Empowerment. Because we found that our congregation, they were growing, feeding spiritually, as I earlier said, but physically they're in want. Therefore, we got the insight and we came together and we said, what shall we do? We need to do something so that we can bring and the gospel to be a full gospel as Jesus did. Therefore, here in Kenya we started. And in 2013 we came up with the idea, and in 2017 we got our registration, and we put together Kenya together. And we segmented Kenya into 820 regions. Each region is headed by a regional manager.
All right.
But at the top of the hierarchy, the county is headed by a coordinator. So within the region, we have the regional manager, and we have other 20 frontier staff at the moment.
And we'll talk a bit about the structure of EASSF. Let's talk about that empowerment. When you talk about empowerment in what form? And by the time you're doing that, of course, there are pictures running there of some of the things you're doing. But let's talk about empowerment. What kind of empowerment?
Economical empowerment and the social empowerment.
In what sense?
Economically, initiating programs and projects which can generate income for the people so that they can come out of poverty and start income generating projects.
Let's talk about some of these commercial projects that you're talking about. What are they?
We have poultry farming.
Poultry farming.
Fish farming. We have the health products, health food products. And we have built Kenya into regions where each cash crop can be easily grown or where it does well. So we are not just kicking about the bush, but we go to where a certain crop can be grown. Yep.
So where are you getting these crops? You're going to a certain area where these crops can be grown. So you're buying them and giving them to your members, or where are you getting? For example, if we were to talk about arrowroot, ndoma,
yes.
Or pumpkin. So where do you get the seeds? Do you buy them yourselves?
We empower them, and we talk with the people, and we tell them this is a viable business, agribusiness. Therefore, as we train and share with them in a setup we call a cluster, now we engage them and tell them, now let us come together and we look for the seedlings or the whatever plant it is supposed to be. So it is self-driven.
Self-driven.
Yep.
So you come together, you look for the seeds together.
Yes.
Where has the money come from? The one that you're using to get the seeds?
Normally, we share what they have because there is a social involvement. Yep. But for like pumpkins, we get some seeds from other areas and then we can sell to the farmers over there at a reasonable price.
All right.
Yep.
I'm struggling to understand. Let's start from this process. How do you register members? So that we go on up until the point where you get seeds and now get into commercial.
Yes.
So let's start from the initial process. For example, I want to be a member and my camera person wants to be a member. How do you cluster us?
As I earlier mentioned, we have segmented Kenya into 820 regions.
820 regions?
Yeah. In the regions, we propagate what we want to do to alleviate poverty. Therefore, we ask the people, are you interested to join us in the war of fighting poverty?
Okay.
And then they say yes. And therefore, we tell them, if you want to become a member, you must form a class of 15 people. by yourselves. People
All right.
you can understand one another.
15 people.
15, they form one cluster.
Okay.
And therefore, out of those 15 people, we go deeper and discuss what is that thing that you can do together so that you can fight property within yourselves.
All right.
Yeah.
So, for example, we are 15 of us in studio. Of course, we are not 15, but let's assume we are 15 in studio inside Nairobi. I don't know where you cluster that as what region, but we are in Nairobi. What would you recommend for us, and how does that process now begin?
Nairobi is a county.
Is a county. Yeah.
We have also segmented it into a number of regions. And the region is within that place where people live. So there is no cross-creasing. We put people together where they are.
Okay.
And then we propagate and sensitize and show them the need. And we talk about property openly so that they can hear, and then they come up if they are interested.
If they're interested.
Yes.
Let's, for example, say we are interested in poultry farming. The 15 of us in that cluster, in that region, we have decided we're going to do poultry farming. So what does EASSF do?
EASSF, in the poultry farming, it is not going to be done in every county. We have made a belt for the poultry farming where it is favorable. Therefore, what we'll ask the people, we look for the birds, we do the farm, and then we also look for the market, if the people are interested. And then in the class of 15 people, they member themselves to become our members.
Okay.
Because you don't deal with every Dick and John. You have to get people who are committed.
Okay. Are you across all the 47 counties?
Of course, that's why I'm talking about 820. A region consists of 35,000 adult Kenyans, 18 years and above. So 820 is all over in this country. Yeah, and every county is run by a coordinator.
Okay.
Yeah, below the coordinator are the regions. These regions are measured by the number of the population in that count. So we divide 14 regions per every count.
Okay.
Yeah.
Looking at your website, you were talking about, mostly, the number of Kenyans, living below $1 per day. And I'm just wondering, is it about a person who is willing to join, or are you targeting the person who is living, below $1 a day, in the sense that you identify such people?
He might be living below $1.
Okay.
But he's not willing. So we don't force. If you are chased by something, it is you to run, but not other people to run for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do your members do contributions, probably? Is it a rotating fund?
Normally, you identify yourself by a one life registration.
One life registration?
Yeah.
How much?
180.
180 shillings?
Yep.
Once that is done and you get into the project, there's no more contribution into?
No more contribution.
Okay.
Because we have discovered these people are living below $1.
Yes.
They don't have the capacity to make any substantial saving for them to attract any funding. So what we have done as an organization, we have gone an extra mile and looked for finances locally and offshore.
All right. You have looked
so
for money
we avail,
locally and offshore.
We avail the finances and we tell them now, we want to teach you how to fish. Okay. We are not giving a fish to you. If you get into this investment, then you must be ready to work. But in the setup of 15 people. Yeah.
When you think about agribusiness, because it has been quite a problem in this country, people want to venture into agribusiness, but the problem of value addition continues to be the biggest hindrance to agribusiness. Is it a component in the empowerment that you're doing to these communities?
Yes, we are so much considerate because we have to be careful. It is an investment, so we don't just want to lose money. We are taking all the parameters, and we are talking and negotiating among ourselves. Most of the things which are a predicament is like the inputs. So we are working in a way that whatever byproduct or whatever is a waste product is like in the agribusiness. We are gearing ourselves to making some of the byproducts to be a raw material for fertilization of the produce.
All right.
Yep.
Ready market, because you talked about a ready market for the products that are being produced by these members, and I'm wondering, beyond Kenya, have you identified a market for some of these products?
Of course, yes, we have market in United States, but from the experience of the COVID, every other business person has to think internally. So internally also, we are so much active. And it's surprisingly that even eggs are imported to come to this nation. So we as SASAF, we are now working very hard to make sure that we bridge that gap of these importations, like the eggs, rice, all those kind of things.
All right.
Yep.
As we wind up, such products have been initiated before. Some of them ended up being a smokescreen for very big scandals. How do you guarantee the Kenyan public that you are in this and you will not only get value for what you're investing in terms of financial and emotions, but it will be a safe bet for you?
Very safe, because these projects and programs, they belong to the people. That is why we have a member who commits himself. They also have a constitution to guide themselves. And we are a keeper of one another. So they are not just haywire, but they keep one another. We have a goal. There is something that we are fighting, which is called poverty.
All right.
So we work with them, we enlighten them, we put knowledge in them, and we build them so that it belongs to them, does not belong to the Bishop, Mr. Kidome and his team.
All right. Bishop Julius Kidome, the CEO, EA that is East Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa Safe Promotions Foundation. Talking about economic empowerment, and that is very important. Of course, again, bridging the gap between the pulpit and the welfare of the people. That's how we wind up Extra Mile. Cynthia Nyama is up next with business.
Ili kupata skiza tune hii ya Dhiki Huleta Zaburi kwa simu yako, bonyeza *811 *815 hash.
Na msibabaishwe na yale mnayowapitia, hata yawe magumu kiasi gani, yote yatapita. La msingi ni kuweka tumaini letu kwa Mungu aliyetuumba. Katika kitabu cha Warumi 5:3, wala si hivyo tu, ila mnafurahia katika dhiki pia, mkijua ya kuwa dhiki kazi yake ni kuleta saburi. Amina.
Ili kupata skiza tune hii, bonyeza *811 *815 hash, *811 *815 hash.
We take it on at the right time.
Honorable Musalia Mudavadi.
The Honorable Mutahi Kagwe.
Chief Justice Martha Karambuko.
This is KBC, the voice of Kenya.
Asking the right questions.
I don't know how it made you feel as speaker who is presiding over a house where members can be compromised with 10,000 shillings.
We keep our guests comfortable. A mission to ensure our audience gets a complete story.
For a few hours or so, I thought this is it. My end has come.
If really we want an end of this pandemic, we must fight.
Our goal, to tell it as it is for the benefit of our viewer.
And I'm sure we will have good discussions.
All right.
That will make probably your viewers understand KDF better.
With 21 radio outlets.
During a live interview on KBC TV, Chief of Defense Forces General Robert Kibosh. Jaji mkuu kwa mara ya kwanza katika mahojiano yake ya kipekee na runinga ya KBC Channel 1.
And 2 TV stations covering over 90% of the entire country. The message always gets home. KBC, the home of on-air TV interviews.
Good evening, welcome to Business. I am Cynthia Nyamai. Now, livestock farmers in Taita Taveta County are calling on the government to initiate programs and processes that will address challenges attributed to climate change. They say climate change has negatively affected meat output, especially at a time when there's an increase in demand of beef in the country.
The meat sector currently contributes 12% of the country's GDP and 45% of the agricultural GDP, a number boosted by annual beef and mutton production by ranchers across the country. The Ministry of Agriculture lauded Taita Taveta County Ranchers Association for its contribution towards the meat industry and the pivotal role it has played in contributing towards revenue generation.
You've got to accept that climate change is with us. This time it is drought, tomorrow it turns out to be floods. Again it sweeps everything, and that particular time is still affecting our livestock.
Taita Taveta County government officials lamented on the financial constraints at county level, saying they have affected implementation of key initiatives geared towards developing ranches in the county, calling upon the Ministry of Livestock to remedy the situation.
We have a budget constraint. Me, I'm requesting the PS to support us, even at national government, at support with our budget, because our budget is constrained. Pesa haitoshi.
This time when the drought is so hard, all our water plants in the ranch, we've got about 69 water plants in the ranch. All of them are dry.
Taita Taveta Ranchers Association Chairman Charo Bongosa said there is need for both the county and national government to address the perennial water shortage challenge in the ranches, which not only affect livestock health but also triggers human-wildlife conflict. Reporting for Prime Edition, my name is Hibak Said.
Now, farm enterprise groups, if you are to take advantage of government's efforts meant to create more industries at the grassroots as we improve production for micro, small and medium enterprises countrywide. This is the call of the Industrialization Permanent Secretary, Kirima Kaberia, who said that the ministry is mapping all 47 counties to establish the type of value addition and industries required for the MSMEs to thrive.
In 1979 in Japan, one village, one product OVOP was first pioneered by the late Dr. Morihiko Hiramatsu, with the same being applied in other countries around the world. The program back home in Kenya is one of the pillars of Vision 2030 that is meant to increase income at the community level through value addition and improved market access.
We are taking again the baseline or the data that we have on this product and saying, why should we always be suffering to take the products to the industry? Let's find the industry, the commodities, and take the industries to the commodities or to where the raw materials are.
Through the model, each village identifies a valuable local resource, then adds value to it through either processing, sales and marketing activities. Now the government wants local enterprises to look to more aggressive value addition practices available to them.
How else are we going to industrialize if we do not believe in our own products? Now all these SMEs on here, they are here exhibiting products that they are making.
Stakeholders were also urged to create an enabling environment amongst themselves and believe in their local capacities to produce for markets beyond their own, especially in the East African Community Trading Bloc.
If you are able to go beyond the boundaries of this great country and they sell the same products to our neighboring countries in Ethiopia, in Uganda, in Zambia, all that, what has the government done? It has corrupted these markets. We started with the East African community, a market of 150 million people. There are no boundaries between the 5 member states: Burundi, Rwanda, Uganda, Tanzania and Kenya. Unatembea kuuza vitu zako.
HealthX Africa has been licensed to provide telemedicine services in the country. A fully equipped virtual medical facility has commenced its services, consolidating gains made in healthcare, innovations and technology in the past years. Health Ministry says the adoption of the telemedicine concept is aligned to the universal health coverage goals.
There is a positive shift in innovations in the healthcare space, where individuals can access various health services and consultations on the digital domain. The Ministry of Health says once the e-health bill is enacted by Parliament, Kenya's telemedicine that is at infancy stages will move to new levels. The bill will see provision of care through telemedicine applications, improve the interactions between service providers and clients.
I see a lot of potential in terms of using technology. And I see a lot of potential in terms of leveraging on proven technologies to make sure that Kenyans can be able to access the quality healthcare. And in this comes with it a lot of benefit in terms of the accessibility, in terms of the cost, in terms of the geographical coverage.
According to HealthX Africa CEO Kaiser Manji, the services will be offered on a transparent subscription model that is affordable. He says the integrated telehealth platform will ensure patients have around-the-clock access to qualified and licensed healthcare professionals who have specialized in telehealth training through video or voice calls and live chat.
Yeah, before devolution, you see that most of the experts, they were actually in the major urban centers that you know in Kenya, meaning that people who were actually in the community level, they had to travel for long distances. They could actually not be able to access the quality service. They could not be able to access, experts. Even when they access them, the cost was actually too high.
He added that mobile and internet use for the services will reduce congestion in healthcare facilities, lower costs for patients, and give users access to educational healthcare content to help prevent diseases. Reporting for Prime Edition, my name is Hibak Said.
Well, that's it for business. Up next, sports with Munga.
Welcome to the home of the fastest line, boosted odds, the best bonuses, instant payouts, push. And even cashback. ODibets, bet extraordinary.
The coastal region is a construction site, literally. From highways and byways to ports and shiny roads, the evidence is there to be seen and to be touched. But what are the economic benefits of all these projects?
Better connectivity, more efficient roads, give people an opportunity to actually acquire land away from a busy commercial center and go to areas where land is cheaper, and therefore use the excess money to invest into productive activities.
This week on Inside Government, we focus our trail on infrastructural development at the coast, and we are talking to the chairperson of Kenya National Highways Authority, Engineer Wangai Girango, right here on KBC Channel 1.
Well, good evening. Always a pleasure to have your company for KBC Sports with me, Richard Munga. Now, sprinter Ferdinand Omanyala and former 3,000 meters gold medalist Ezekiel Kimboi are among the Kenyan athletes who will take part in the Expo 2021 marathon that is set to take place in Dubai from the 19th till the 26th of November this year. The team left the country today and will camp in Dubai for the next 10 days.
Speaking before leaving the country for Dubai to take part in the famous Expo Marathon, former gold medalist in the 3,000 meter steeplechase Ezekiel Kimboi stated that this will act as a comeback to him, and he hopes to take part in the coming races to enable him fit to take part in the coming international competitions.
After next year, or maybe next year, I'm still consulting my body. I'm still eating my body because I like doing sports, and that's what has also brought me to come here and also to go to Dubai for the Expo.
His remarks were echoed by African 100 meters record holder Ferdinand Omanyala, who will also participate in the 3,000 meters for the first time, who described that it is a way of keeping his body physically fit.
I'm not changing to a marathoner. Basically, I always do 3 kms in training, and that's basically like between 12 minutes to 15 minutes. So I'm going to have fun with that, and my target is to finish that without stopping.
The Expo run will take place on November 19th, while the Dubai run will take place on the 26th of November. Daniel Mwendwa, Sports.
All the best to the Kenyan athletes heading to represent the country, of course, in Dubai. Meanwhile, preparations are in top gear for the World Athletics Cross-Country Tour, which will be held in Eldoret on the 12th of February next year. Athletics Kenya pitched Eldoret town is at the World Athletics Council meeting during the Tokyo Olympic Games, since Mombasa has already hosted the 2007 World Cross-Country Championships, with Nairobi staging both the 2017 Under-18 and 2021 World Under-20 Athletics Championships. World Athletics picked Eldoret town in Uasin Gishu County as one of its venues for the inaugural 2022 World Cross Country Tour that has 17 legs.
We are privileged as a county, then in the country, to have been chosen by AK to host this event here in Eldoret, and to honor the whole Central Rift and the fraternity of athletes who come from this region.
The local organizing committee, led by AK Vice President Paul Mutui, accompanied by course designers, today inspected the Lobo Village grounds where the race is set to be held.
We as a federation, we thought it was very important that a world event of this nature should be taken to Eldoret, the place where, or the area where most of our athletes actually originate.
A few months ago, Athletics Kenya confirmed that it would incorporate the Eldoret Tour on their local 2021-2022 calendar, with the invitational event being held separately from the National Cross Country Championships.
We will have our national championship at the same venue, so that our national championship can be a kind of a test event to see how the route actually looks like. And that is going to take place on the 22nd of January 2022.
The inaugural cross-country tour, which will be named after the fallen 10K world record holder Agnes Tirop, is expected to draw top athletes from across the world, especially due to the postponement of the World Athletics Cross-Country Championships to 2023. 2014 Commonwealth Games gold medalist Mercy Cherono has urged Athletics Kenya to increase the number of coaches in the South Rift region, which is known for producing up to 60% of junior athletes during global events.
Kama kungekuwa na women who are coaches, ingekuwa rahisi sana ku handle these issues of young ladies to bring them up in the right way, because they will be close to these females and they will be open to tell them their challenges. Yeah.
We are very impressed by their contributions. They are opening up, and you know, the idea of this program is to hear from the athletes. It is not us to tell them what to do. It is them to tell us exactly what they go through and what they wish the federation or the government to do for them.
Cherono was speaking during the Athletics Kenya National Consultative Forum in Kericho, which follows similar initiatives in Bomet and Kisii, respectively. Elsewhere, Kakamega County football team thrashed Kilifi County 2-0 in their first match of the ongoing Kenya Inter-County Sports and Cultural Association, that is Kikoska Games, at Nimbura Grounds, Embu County. Meanwhile, in volleyball, Kiambu County defeated Kakamega County by 3 straight sets.
2 goals each half by Captain Sam Anyova and Samuel Amunze ensured the Anthony Okumu coached defending champions bagged maximum points to go to top of the pool. At the Embu Showground, the Kakamega men and women tag of war teams humbled Kiambu and Bungoma respectively. The women, captained by Dorcas Nandwa, produced a stellar performance, outclassing the neighbors in a poll that also had Uasin Gishu and Embu counties. Kisumu and Narok counties are other Kakamega opponents in the tag of war men's category. In volleyball, Kiambu County defeated Kakamega County by 3 straight sets. Uasin Gishu County are the defending champions in the men's volleyball category.
Oh, that's all the time we had for sports tonight. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing, but don't go too far. John Jacob Kioria is on the other side of the studio. John, over to you.
Thank you very much, Richard Monga. Indeed, this is where we put a cap on Prime Edition tonight. Thank you very much for your company. But as you know, always on Wednesday, it's reggae night. So we'll be doing reggae after this. My name is John Jacob Kioria, and Wangeshi was a sign language interpreter. Have yourself a fantastic night. See you on Sunday Express on Sunday.